House Republicans have voted to keep Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy atop their conference. He secured the position by a vote of 188 to 31, beating a last-minute challenge by more conservative congressman from Arizona, Andy Biggs. Across the Capitol in the Senate, Mitch McConnell's more than 15-year reign as GOP Senate leader is facing a challenge as another senator is now vying for his job. CBS News congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane joins me now. We'll get to the Senate in a moment, but Scott, let's start in the House. How today went, and last I checked, 188 votes does not make a speaker. What's the next step here, and does McCarthy face any kind of a threat over this?
Yeah, this is the easier of two steps. 188 votes will get Kevin McCarthy the Republican nomination to be Speaker, but January 3rd, 2023, he'll likely need 218. So there are 30 members of the House Republican Conference who have some leverage and will likely exert it over the next 6 weeks. What will Kevin McCarthy promise or have to give or indicate he'll give to secure their votes? Now, he has some leverage, too. When the bottom line hits January 3rd, Republicans are going to want a Republican Speaker of the House. And if nobody else can get 218 votes, they don't want to hand over the speakership to a Democrat. So both sides have some leverage, and both are most certainly going to play it. All that being said, Andy Biggs of Arizona secured 31 votes, and this is going to be the type of thing that could menace a Speaker McCarthy for 2 years. A faction, even a small faction that's measured by 4 or 5 members of the House, can have some form of veto power. That's the reality a Speaker McCarthy will face if Republicans do, in fact, take the majority.
So that's a new magic number that we're going to have to remember, 31. There were 31 Republicans, at least in this first round, who voted against him. They may end up being the most stubborn of the Republican conference going forward. And we'll get into the margins, of course, as January 3rd nears. Now, over in the Senate, they're having a nearly House-style leadership election fight of their own because it's now Rick Scott of Florida challenging Leader McConnell. Can he expect more than just a handful of votes when they meet to pick their next leader?
I spoke with a half dozen Republican members of the Senate over the last few minutes. Most of them were equivocating. I mean, these are senators who like to give unsolicited opinions and show their political theatrics in public. In this case, they didn't. We do have one Republican who unequivocally said he'll support Rick Scott. That's Senator Mike Braun of Indiana, who, like Rick Scott, is in his first term, one of the newer and, relatively speaking, younger members of the U.S. Senate. All that being said, one vote will not get Rick Scott over the top. He will need, literally, about a couple dozen. And Mitch McConnell expressed confidence that he still has the votes he needs. Here was Mitch McConnell after a marathon Republican Senate meeting late this afternoon.
I have the votes. I will be elected. The only issue is whether we do it sooner or later, and I think we'll probably have another discussion about that tomorrow.
Here's a tradition you and I know quite well, Ed. After one side loses in an election, they have a very long post-game meeting. There was a very long Senate Republican meeting. We waited 3 hours for that thing to break up, and it finally did.
Just incredible to think he's being challenged at all. If anything, perhaps he's just going to have to commit to something like establishing a party platform going into 2024. But as he pointed out, he's not right, or he's not wrong. McConnell has the votes to get this done.
Here's the thing, though, Ed. Rick Scott does this at some peril to himself. If you don't defeat the king, the king can exert some revenge. So we'll see what happens to Rick Scott should he not prevail when the new Congress begins in January.
Yeah, all of it to be continued. We appreciate you. Real quick while we have you, there was a bit of 2024 congressional intrigue today, a challenger to Senator Joe Manchin in West Virginia, right?
Alex Mooney is the Republican House member elected just last week, representing the northern half of West Virginia. Immediately, 1 week after winning election to the U.S. House, winning re-election, he announced he will challenge Joe Manchin in 2024. It underscores an important point here. Joe Manchin, who's been that pivotal vote this entire Congress, who could still be if the Congress remains 50-50 in the U.S. Senate, will now be in cycle, running for re-election. His votes may be even more mercurial than they've been since he was elected in 2018 to his latest term.
And even more mercurial Joe Manchin. That's what we have to look forward to. Scott MacFarlane up on Capitol Hill. Thank you so much, as always.